In the meantime, though, we're going to bring you our perspective guest today. And my guest is a man who spent 14 years in prison without charge inside Guantanamo Bay until his release in 2016. Mohamedou Ould Slahi is an engineer from Mauritania, accused by the US of recruiting for and providing other support for Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, and then later of being involved even in organising the 9/11 attacks on the US. Now, whilst in Guantanamo, he says he was subjected to a range of torture methods, from sleep deprivation to isolation to beatings. He also, at the time, wrote a memoir, first published in 2015. Guantanamo Diary also turned as well into a star-studded 2021 film, you may remember it, that tells the story of him and his lawyer who got him out. Before we talk to him, let's watch a quick clip.
They kidnapped me from my home and brought me here with a bag on my head and chains around my body.
What do they accuse you of?
3 years, they charged me with nothing.
Rough justice. That's what this administration wants.
We are seeking the death penalty.
What if you're wrong? What if you built this place, you abandoned all of your principles, all of your laws, and you were wrong?
You need to tell me what happened to you. I can't defend you.
My captors cannot forgive me for something that I've never done.
Maybe he's guilty.
Someone has to answer for the tower.
Someone. Not just anyone.
In Arabic, the word for free and the word for forgiveness is the same word. I want to forgive. This is how, even here, I can be free.
Yeah, the film there, The Mauritanian, based, as I said, on Guantanamo Diary and the story of Mohamedou Ould Slahi, who joins us now. Thanks very much for being with us on the programme. For those who don't know either the book or the film, tell us in your own words now what happened to you when you were in Guantanamo.
First, I would like to thank you so much, Stuart, for inviting me to your program. And I'm very happy to join my very good friend, the co-counsel from my lawyer Nancy Holland, Sylvain Savolana, in concerting a rencontre in 2 days. And so for those who don't know me and who don't know my story, after the horrific attacks of 9/11, two police agents came to our house. I was with my mother. I just finished work. It was exactly on the 20th of November of 2001. And I was very scared. And I remember my mother telling me, whispering to me, Mohamedou, I know why those agents came to see you. And I said, why? She said, because you watch TV. I told you not to watch TV. And, Stuart, we grew up under military dictatorship. And my mom always used to tell us that the walls had ears. And it was almost prophetic, because now we do actually know that walls have ears. And again, I was very scared. This is not like in France or in a democracy where you have the rule of law and the police has to explain to you why they arrest you. And they have to show you actually an arrest warrant. No, those are orders coming from the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America.
And you finished up, didn't you? Sorry to interrupt, but you finished up inside Guantanamo Bay as well. What was that actually like, the time you spent there?
Actually, Stuart, I could tell you that you have seen exactly what happened to me. I think it was also in France 24 when they show Andy Hernando Ramirez, the very high-profile immigrants from South America, who was captured. And when I saw him crying and begging as the ICE arrested him and took him to El Salvador, I saw myself. I remember the first day when I arrived there. I remember when they stripped us naked in front of a bunch or group of young people. I was forced to watch as they were stripped naked and they were bent over and cavity searched. I cannot get that picture out of my head. I completely lost any kind of feeling. I was taken to the interrogation, and I remember the FBI guy who started to interrogate me. He told me, his name was William, Agent William. He told me, we don't torture people. That was very telling to me, because who was speaking about torture? Who was mentioning torture? We have a saying in Arabic, the criminal is about to cry, please arrest me. I never thought that the United States actually torture people, but actually I was tortured.
Tell me if I'm wrong, because you do admit to some things, don't you? Tell me if I'm wrong, because in the 90s, I believe you trained in an Al-Qaeda camp, and at the time you swore allegiance to Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's actually correct. I didn't know what Al-Qaeda was, to be honest. I just was living in Germany, and there was a very big official support for Al-Qaeda, for Afghanistan. And actually, when I wanted to go as a volunteer to help in Afghanistan, that was against against Russia, but against the Soviet Union back then. And actually, I applied for a visa at the embassy of the Mujahideen in Bonn, which was like a recognized embassy in Germany. And I went there. I didn't know. And I was very young and I didn't know anything about this. But when I came there and I saw the horror of war and how like human life and human dignity had no value, I knew that what I learned through the Western media about Afghanistan was all wrong. And I went back, and I never came back. And of course, I admitted to things I hadn't done, because when I was tortured, when this very known Lieutenant Richard Zuli came, and he showed me a letter that the government, the United States government, allowed my mother to be kidnapped and put with men-only prison in Guantanamo Bay. I lost it.
Listening to you, you come across as very calm, very gracious, and that's one of the things that the book is praised for. Your very calm and gracious attitude to what happened to you and those who imprison you.
I mean, yeah, thank you so much. I don't know what to say, because this is much bigger than me, actually. I never took it personally. Of course, in the beginning, I was very upset. There was a lot of pain, especially the sexual assault by men and women, by Mary and First Sergeant Charlie, who were led by Richard Zuli, who actually now under investigation for torturing Black people in Chicago. I know this was, and I'm very curious, Stuart. I really want to learn what's going on, what's wrong. I'm a person, I never applied for a visa to visit the United States. The United States was never on my radar. I was never thinking about the so-called American dream, but yet I was kidnapped and forced to face the American justice system in Guantanamo Bay, military justice system. And Stuart, I was the first death penalty case. And I tell you, when they came to me, when I wrote my false confession, and they came to me, they told me, you are selected for death penalty. And they tried to explain to me how that is going to go down. And I had no feeling. And I'm not a hero, absolutely not a hero.
Well, it's good to
But
hear
I
your
had no
story.
feeling.
Thank you very much for being with us. I know you're going to be at the Concertina Festival, as you mentioned there, at this coming weekend here in France, which is a good reason for you to come here to France to hear your story. And if people want to hear it, they'll be able to go to that festival, of course, to find out more. Mohamedou Ould Slahi joining us there. Thank you very much.